Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the Fallout Bar on night 3 of the Zoo, a Grand Slam of Darts. As always, we are sponsored by our friends at Boyle Sports. And tonight, on a night of youngsters, I am joined by Cam and Charlie to delve through Monday night's action. And what a night of darts! I will come to you first, Cam. What a Monday night!
It was a bit good, wasn't it, for a Monday? Monday can be one of those days that's a bit of a drag to get through, but that certainly wasn't a tough evening to watch, was it? Some brilliant stuff, especially from the youngsters, like we said.
And Charlie, another good day, another day of shots, and a day for the young guns.
Yeah, 100%. Those last two games were incredible, and you kind of expect once you've had a full sort of night of darts that by the end you're tired of it coming to the last couple of games. But that was incredible, and those last two games we'll come and touch on them, but they were brilliant, and some surprises along the way as well. So really good night of darts.
Yeah, we've certainly got 8 very good games to talk through. Some with a lot riding on them, a couple early on, not so much really just looking at finishing top of the group. To all the Dobb fans out there, I apologise he's not with us tonight. We've gave him a day off. I would say an executive decision was made. That was made by himself, and he's gave himself a night off tonight. After all his hard work at the seniors, he's gave himself a night off tonight, but he'll be back with us for the rest of the week. So let's dive straight into the action and to the Chris Dobey and Ryan Joyce game. So in this one, Joyce was already confirmed as being through into the next round. Chris Dobey was out. Dobey, though, got the win and come through this one 5-3. Cam, I'll start with you on this one. Like it says, nothing riding on it. However, at least Dobey can leave with that one win.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of already qualified from Ryan Joyce in there. Probably not the same intensity we've seen in the first couple of games. And Dobey played pretty well, to be honest. It's a solid average. It was a good performance and good for him, especially being the late call-up. It would have been a bit of a shame for him to go on with no points and straight after the group stage. At least he's got a little result there. Bit of confidence going forwards. I think he's got a bit of in his interview afterwards, he's got a bit of an issue with his hand as well, hasn't he? Which I wasn't aware of until today. So obviously not the ideal preparation all around, being away for a few days and then also having a bit of an injury to the hand, but goes away with a win and he's not had too bad of a weekend in the end.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, mate. Like it says, we wasn't aware of the injury until he speaks to Phil, and we'll show you a little clip of that shortly. But before we do, Charlie, on this one, just your thoughts on Ryan Joyce. Obviously, it was a game with very little on for Ryan Joyce, done all his hard work across the weekend. But then with this defeat, how do you think that sets him up for Wednesday?
Look, I think it's a very position here. There we go. Right, okay.
Someone's very popular this evening, mate.
Getting calls like that. But no, yeah, look, it must be a very good position for Ryan Joyce to be in because we saw a lot of people still had stuff to do tonight. So for him, I think it was just a case of just, getting through the game. I mean, he'd like to have won the game. I'm sure he will have done and come through with a 100% record, but I don't think it hinders him massively. He still performed well. I don't think he was at the top of his game, but still a decent performance for him. But look, it's great to see Chris Dobey get points on the board, and he's actually finished 3rd out of 4 now, following the Stephen Bunting result.
Yeah, very, very surprising at the end of the night to see Dobey then finish 3rd. Obviously, starting the night with already being knocked out. But as Cam alluded to there, Chris Dobey spoke to Phil after his win tonight and did touch upon injury. Here's a short clip from Chris Dobey.
Like an hour or so before my match with Rowby the other night, or the other day, I got the point of a dart all the way through my throat and hand on a hidden nerve, which I didn't like to go on social media or anything like that and knock everybody like they started trying to think, but it kind of distressed us, and my hand was shaking for 2-3 days, and it's still not the same. So I'm going to get a check when I get back, and but I'm just delighted to go out there and at least get a win under my belt.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, Tam, he touched upon an injury of the dart going through his hand. First of all, that must be very, very painful.
Yeah, I don't fancy any of that.
Very, very painful. Even more so if Whitlock's been playing with his dart and how short they'll probably be. And
Yeah, that's true. Probably struggled to get it back out.
But the form he's been in, there's a lot of conversation about Dobie and Reed's deserving places in the Grand Slam of darts because of their Pro Tour wins. It was good to see Dobie on the stage, get that win today for me. And hopefully this injury isn't too bad. And then we'll see him be performing at the Players' Championships and then pushing on in the Worlds, as we've seen him do before, with having good runs there. But now, talking about the Worlds, we move on to the World Champion. And I sort of made you aware that I was going to bring this up before we come along the Parabiet. As I listened to you on the Fallout Bar this morning, I watched last night's episode and heard you both say that Martin Schindler had absolutely no chance in this one. And then Martin Schindler put in an outstanding performance against Irving Price. Yes, once then it was a game with nothing on him with regards to qualification. However, Martin Schindler come through a 5-4 winner against Irving Price. Charlie, on this time, I will start with you. What were you thinking yesterday?
Well, what was I thinking when I had a little dabble at it tonight? I thought at 1-5, this is a banker. And then Price got 3-1 up, and I thought this is the opportunity now where he just powers through. But look, Schindler stayed in the game. And he was really impressive. I've been impressed by Martin Schindler, but he just hasn't got to those heights this week. But look, we wrote him off massively last night. I think we said he might get one leg on the board. So for him to put performance in like that, it'll be a huge confidence booster for him, and a 101 average as well. So really impressive, and it just shows exactly what he can do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And Cam, I won't come to you about your pick, as we've mentioned, you went the same with Charlie in a bit of a one-sided affair. But looking at it seriously, from a performance from Martin Schindler, I'm not going to look at too much of Irving Price performance because he didn't play too bad. 95 average was still okay, and we know that someone like Irving Price plays on adrenaline with that qualification already secure. Wasn't much on that, but for Martin Schindler, how far do you think now he can push on the rest of the year and then moving on to next year with the confidence of beating the world champion?
Yeah, I think it's big for him, and I think we all know what he can do, and we know the form he's shown recently, and kind of day one and day two kind of thought he could be one of them that would get a result or two. Certainly fancied him yesterday, and thought he could possibly do something on Saturday as well. And we didn't really see it from him. He didn't turn up at all the first couple of games, and it's probably just nerves on the big stage. I know he has been there a little bit, and he's done a bit of it before, but he's not done it consistently. And I think that was really impressive tonight. And fair play to him, because like you said, we absolutely wrote him off last night. We thought we were probably going to see another fairly low average from him and struggle at the outer ring, and he didn't at all. He played really well. So, yeah, it's got to be a huge confidence boost. And now he knows he can go and do it on the stage against the best as well.
Yeah, I think I'm giving you a bit of stick, but I think 99% of the darting population would have backed Irving Price today. And then moving on then to, we had those two games that, like I said, qualification was already sorted and elimination for a couple of those players. Moving on then to the games with a real meaning on Monday night. And then the excitement really, really started. And we saw Jim Williams take on Boris Turgema. With this one, I want you to review this one without looking at game 4, because it's going to be very difficult to do because of the impact of what game 4 had. But looking at this as a game, Jim Williams beat Boris 5-1. Cam, very good performance by Jim Williams. Average probably wouldn't suggest as much, but for me, some of the finishing was at a top standard for the pressure that he was under.
Yeah, it was. It was very good, to be fair. I thought Jim Williams was really impressive, and I thought the way he rattled it off under that pressure, again, in that position where he's, especially a 5-1 win as well, you think that's probably going to be enough to get him through. So to hold it together under that pressure of having to get a result and having to get a good result, I thought it was very good from him. I was a little bit disappointed in Boris, probably. I think he kind of chucked the towel in after about 3 legs, but that was a little bit little bit disappointing from him, but Jim Williams just did what he needed to do and held it together when he had to.
Charlie, come to you as well on your thoughts on this one. Once again, trying to not think about the following game that come after this, but looking at the performance of Jim, and I'm with you, Tam, on that. The disappointment of Boris, not just tonight really, but across the weekend. I expected a little bit more from him.
I mean, look, not trying to talk about what the game that happened before that, but obviously after that. But this game, Jim Williams just needed to do a job, didn't he? He needed to put himself in a position where it was out of his hands. He'd done everything he could do, and that's exactly what he did. An impressive performance from him, and he got the job done. Boris has been a real shame in that group. I think he's won 3 legs in the 3 games that he's been in. His doubling hasn't been anywhere near what you'd expect. 1 from 9 in that game, but Jim Williams did the job, and he put his name in the hat. And it's obviously. We won't talk about that until a little bit later on, but an impressive performance from him, nevertheless. Yeah,
and one thing to talk about in this one. I'm just going to pop the comment on the stream as well. I did see this at the end. No handshake from Boris. I seen Jim down to the board to collect his darts. Boris then went to the marker to shake and sort of walked past Jim on his darts. I didn't see anything that happened in this one. Certainly not really put Jim Williams in that category of sort of mixing it up or stirring it up. I didn't see anything. I'm not sure if you two came across anything on stage, or it was just disappointment from Boris, which that might be the case.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't see anything during the game, but yeah, I noticed as well at the end that there wasn't a handshake. There was also a bit of a ridiculous finish from Boris at one point where he tried to go. He had 82 left and he went double 16 first. I'm not sure whether that was already something wasn't quite right there, but I think that was in legs. Was it in the final leg that? I think it was, wasn't it? He had 82 left and went double 16 first, which is a bit ridiculous and clearly shows his head wasn't quite where it should be. I don't know whether that just spilled over into the handshake at the end or whether there'd already been something go on. But like I say, Jim Williams isn't exactly the character that you'd expect there to be any sort of needle with.
Yeah, and then moving on, I've actually not to talk about this game initially. But now we move on to, if you look at the field today, what was expected to be one of the best games, potentially one of the closest games. I can't remember your 2 predictions yesterday on this, but I don't think either of you back James Wade to go through. And I'm hating saying this because if any of you saw my social media post yesterday, I gave Dob a lot of credit for his work the weekend. I'm sure Dob predicted James Wade to come through this, so it's really painful to say I'm giving him praise twice in like less than 24 hours. But,
yeah, I thought you just had too much to drink last night when you were at the darts.
No, it wasn't. As much as my leopard print shirt was on and the celebrations are on the screen, I didn't have as much as I normally do.
No, it was very fair, to be honest. Gob's done a cracking job this weekend, to be honest.
Yeah. And then his boy, James Wade, put in an outstanding performance against Rob Cross. To the extreme of, at one point, Jim Williams might have qualified because Rob Cross looked like he might not even net a lead. That fourth lead was certainly very interesting. I'll come to Charlie on that one. But yeah, it was very, very nervy for Rob Cross, and we expected it the other way.
Yeah, I thought Rob Cross would get the job done tonight. And as the game progressed, it's a strange one because as the game progressed, Wade got stronger. And I kept thinking, hold on here, Rob Cross only needs 1 leg. And he just wasn't getting a chance. No. And I was like, this game, it could really turn nasty for Rob Cross. But look, he averaged 101. He's come up against a 111 average. Wade was on a mission tonight. I don't know if he was throwing a little bit quicker than he usually does. It looked like he was in a real rhythm tonight. And, look, he was a man on a mission and he got the job done.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. This is what happens when I'm in control of hosting and producing. Comments like that will always make it on the stream. Rose, cheers for the comments. They will always make it on the stream with me in charge. But once then, joking aside on this one, 111 average from James Wade. But Rob Cross still averaged 101. A player who's come into a lot of form in the past couple of months. He's going to be someone certainly to watch the back end of this tournament. So even looking at this week, the back end of this tournament. And won't be too disheartened now we finally got his way through.
No, that's it. I think there's nothing for him to worry about whatsoever. He was on the end of an absolute barrage for the first 3 legs, first 4 legs pretty much. I know he ended up getting that leg on the board in the 4th leg in the end, but he looks like like you say, he might not qualify at one point, which the way he's played all weekend would have been utterly ridiculous for him not to make the next round. Yeah. But he played very well. He picked it up a little bit from then on as well and fired in a couple of 180s and looked in as good form as he needs to be. He got done what he needs to do, and I think he won't be worried one little bit about losing that game tonight with him still being through.
Yeah, agree with you on that. And that one saw the end of Group C. Once we've run through all the 8 games, I will just run through the tables and what that means for Wednesday's play. I've not seen the order of play yet. However, the obviously with the group stages being as they are, we can see who will meet on Wednesday night. Moving then into Group B, and Tam, staying with you on this one. 3 of the last 4 games, we saw the youngsters shine. We saw Martin Schindler shine early on in the second game. But in this one, Bradley Brutz certainly put in a very, very good performance to butt his place into the last 16 on Wednesday with a 5-3 win over Rusty Jake Rodriguez.
He did. This was a very enjoyable watch, actually, this game. It was back and forth. I mean, I'll be honest, I've just looked at the stats now, and I thought the averages were a bit higher than that watching it live. I know there was quite a few missed doubles in there, which probably plays into that, but entertainment-wise, it was a fantastic watch, and yeah, a couple of big checkouts from Bradley Brooks in there as well. I think there's a 113 and possibly a 10. I can't remember what the other one was, 102 maybe. And yeah, a few 180s apiece. So it was a good game to watch and held his nerve under pressure at the end. Yeah, especially after missing a few doubles before that as well.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. We have MDA Promotions in the house who are very excited about Nathan Rafferty's win, which we will be coming on to very shortly. Just looking at this game with Bradley Brutz and Rusty Jake Rodriguez. Charlie, your thoughts on Rusty Jake Rodriguez? Had a very, very impressive development tour. Absolutely demolished the field. More than double amount of prize money, or around double amount of prize money of the people in second and below. For me, it was on debut, but another one who I expected a little bit more from.
Yeah, definitely. Look, that was a tough group, and anyone could have joined. I'd have expected Johnny Clayton anyway, but anyone could have joined him going through. I mean, he was 5-3 in this game, 5-4. He lost to Mervin King, and then lost 5-3 to Johnny Clayton. So he wasn't far away, but I did expect a little bit better from him. On the flip side, Bradley Brooks just showing his maturity, and his game is developing nicely, isn't it? He rounded the game off nicely tonight. An 89 average, 113 checkout. He's clicking nicely at the moment, and I'm sure he'll be looking forward to getting back in action. In the next round.
And then staying in that group, we had Johnny Clayton and Mervin King. Mervin King needed to win this one either 5-0 or 5-1. Johnny Clayton just needed a couple of legs following the result from Bradley Brutz. Mervin King come out very strong in this one. And then we saw 8 holes of throw, and then Mervin King miss a couple of darts at double 16, which is very unlike the Merv, which would have then changed what we'd have saw in the later stages. And from a selfish point of view, for someone who's going to be in the venue on Wednesday, I wanted to see Mervin King come through that one, because it would have set up a mouth-watering all Welsh tie. But it was Johnny Clayton who come through 5-4. And Charlie, another very, very good game.
These are the games that you want, don't you? When you want these last leg deciders between players, and rather than it just being a dead rubber game, you want both players to have permutations from it. And Merv was really on the edge there, and obviously he didn't make it through. But look, Johnny Clayton's in the form of his life at the moment, so you wouldn't put it past him to.
Have we lost Charlie?
I think we have.
He was in full flow. He still looks like he's in full flow.
Yes. Should we just keep him there like that?
we'll give him a few seconds, see if he comes back in. But Cam, on this one, obviously there was a lot for Merv to do. To beat Johnny Clayton, generally is hard enough. To beat him 5-0 or 5-1 is a massive, massive challenge. But thoughts on Johnny Clayton coming through this one? And for me, I tipped Merv at the start of the week to win this group. Thoughts on Johnny Clayton making it into the last 16?
Yeah, I thought Johnny's been really good, hasn't he? There's no sort of slow start from him in this tournament. He's been there right from game one and playing really well. Just consistency. He's always around that 100 average or above. He doesn't throw in a stinker at any point, and it was a very, very tough task. Here we go. He's back. It's a very tough task to be going out there and having to beat him 5-0 or 5-1. He gave it a really good shot at the start, Mervin. He was playing well, but you just always fancied that Johnny would get the legs he needed to get through that. And yeah, like you say, that was a couple of missed doubles at the end, changed the next tie, but who knows? We may see that all-Welsh tie at the end of the end of proceedings rather than early on in the second round. But
yeah, it was just for me selfishly looking at how that could work out for Wednesday.
Yeah,
I was hoping for that big tie on there. And I will come back to you on this one, Charlie. But before I do, let's hear from Johnny Clayton himself.
Yeah, it probably is, to be honest, because I'd rather not know and just go out to win. But once you know, it's in the back of your head, so it's not that easy. So I got the second leg and I thought, I'll just relax, but I still couldn't relax. So I'm there. I got the job done.
So Charlie, come straight to you as the curse of Dob. He might not be here, but the curse of the Dob Wi-Fi has happened on Charlie's internet that we saw him disappear for a couple of moments. Johnny Clayton now in the last 16 and with the year of the ferret in full flow. How far do you think he can push on the rest of this week?
I think he can go all the way, to be honest with you. I think he's in incredible form. His consistency is there every single game. He's hitting the averages, the checkouts are good. And it's great to see what he said in his post-match presser there, where he says that he just wanted to go out to win. He doesn't care about what he needed to win. He just went out to win the game. And that just shows what the mentality of him is at the moment. The confidence is high. I'd expect him to go all the way.
Yeah, and then before we go into the final two games, after we just discussed the James Wade defeat, we have got a little clip from James Wade. I do want to play this and then let your thoughts on this from James Wade.
Someone said to me, stop being a miserable sod on stage and enjoy it when you hit big scores and enjoy it when you hit some of the finishes. So tonight I tried that.
And it works because, as I say...
Yeah, because I've got the biggest fear in the world because I'm probably not I'm definitely not the most confident player in the world. And even though results at times would say I probably should be more confident than I am, my fear is if I celebrate, I give it the big one, I must make myself look like an idiot. But again, that's my makeup, that's my personality, and that's who I am. So I'm not going to change that, but maybe I should just sometimes, every now and then, just let a little bit more out and perhaps enjoy it a little bit more than I do. Even though I want to, but I refrain and I try and stop myself because I think I was brought up perhaps a little bit different to other people, you know. If you celebrate, you might celebrate yourself and make yourself up for a big fall.
Yeah, so on that one, the reason I wanted to play, very, very different sort of James Wade interview there. As he said, not really one for a big celebration. Sometimes we have a little of a standstill and maybe a little bit of a fist pump, but we saw a little bit more. Do we expect to see more as the week then progresses?
Well, I mean, after today, if he carries on working like that for him, and if anything, probably gives him a little bit of a confidence boost if he sees it keep happening and it keep working for him, that he doesn't set himself up for a fall, then I think maybe we will, and maybe we'll see him go quite a way yet into the week. And
then on Monday night, the theme was the youngsters progressing through. Game number 7, we had Nathan Rafferty, then Christoph Ratajski. In this one, we had 7 older throw, then the first opportunity of match started on for Ratajski. on the Rafferty throw, missed. I think it was 4 in this leg. Then in the on throw, Royce then missed a couple more. And at this point, I want to make sure I'm not taking anything away from Nathan Rafferty, because Nathan Rafferty had one match dart. I think he had 2 match darts, sorry, but with his first one, that was a very, very clean takeout. And what a performance, what a win, and what a week for Nathan Rafferty. Charlie, I'll come to you.
I wrote him off last night, if I'm honest with you. I thought in a straight shootout, this was the opportunity, and I just didn't think he'd be able to live up to the expectation of being able to stay alongside Ratajski, but he did. He kept at arm's length with him, and when the opportunity came, he took it. And he's in dreamland at the moment, isn't he? You saw his celebration at the end. He'll be buzzing and he'll take confidence into the next round. And I think he sets up a game against Johnny Clayton. So what a tie for him. It's really been a dream week for the youngster.
Rafferty set up a tie with Johnny Clayton. I was just checking on that one. Tam, just a quick word on Ratajski. The reason I only want a quick word on Ratajski is because I don't want to take anything away from Nathan Rafferty and what an outstanding win that is. But once again, we've had Ratajski on a TV stage and seen very, very inconsistent performances from him, and his A-Dame being out of this world and his B-Dame just not being enough.
Yeah, it was, again, there was just those little frailties when it came down to it and when the pressure was on that we've seen so many times over the last couple of years with him, that on the TV stage he just doesn't quite get it done. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't really want to focus too much on that because Nathan Rafferty was absolutely fantastic. Again, he's been an absolute highlight throughout the first 3 days. He was very good against Owen Price on Saturday and unlucky not to get a result out of that one. Fantastic yesterday. And then again, what a result that was. I can't remember whether I may have slightly picked him to just sneak through last night. Certainly said he had a very good chance. And I thought it was brilliant. That 67 finish was just as perfectly thrown as it could have been. Both of them were bang in the middle of the bed and just so cool under pressure. Like it was the only opportunity he got at any point in the game to get ahead, and he took it like it was a couple of darts on the practice board for nothing.
Yeah, and then moving on perfectly to another youngster, and I think wanting to make sure that the conversation around the table at Christmas of who the best Rodriguez brother is, with Roby John putting in what a performance. Like it says, I'm back there Wednesday night, and selfishly I look at some of these ties and think, hey, I want them to pan out, and you sort of look at names. But I am so excited about being back there Wednesday with the performances we've seen of Bradley, we've seen of Rafferty, and then finally that we've saw from Roby John Rodriguez. Stephen Bunting went 1-0 up in this one, and then Roby John Rodriguez moved from first steer into fifth, and straight away just was just unbelievable from them on, Charlie.
I think it just shows, doesn't it, that Stephen Bunting had 3 opportunities at a double across the whole course of the game. That just shows how dominant Rodriguez was. I mean, 83% on his doubles is remarkable in a game like that. And, 104 average as well. He was fully deserved of the result. And it blew Bunting away, to be honest. I didn't expect that result at all. But look, some of the seeds are going to have to be really careful in the next couple of rounds because these youngsters are coming through. They've got confidence on the back and they're throwing some amazing darts at the moment.
And then Cam, with now the top half of the draw already being set, and we can see now a route to the final in that top half of the draw. Just going to reel off a couple of the names in that top half of the draw who didn't qualify: Mervin King, Christoph Ratajski, Stephen Bunting, Chris Dolby, Jim Williams. Just 5 of the 8 top names. A lot of quality there. Certainly a lot of upsets in the top half, and like it says, the youngsters have certainly progressed from this side of the draw.
Yeah, it just shows you these days there's so much confidence in the young players that they're just not fazed by it, are they? Like, they're just not worried about going up there, and it doesn't matter who's against them. They put the same performance in and keep that level, and if anything, raise it a little bit. It's great to see. Obviously, there's a huge future for all of these guys, and yeah, I thought it was brilliant, to be honest. Again, like, Roby John was absolutely fantastic there, and I think Stephen Bunting is probably the unluckiest man in Wolverhampton this weekend, where he's played fantastic in every game and just been on the wrong end of a couple of wonderful performances from Ryan Joyce and Roby John Rodriguez.
Yeah, so I'll just run through how we ended in Group A to D. So Derwin Price topped the group with Nathan Rafferty in second, Ratoisty in third, and Martin Schindler in fourth. Group B, Johnny Clayton wins the group with 3 out of 3. Bradley Brutz in second, Mervin King third, and Rusty Jake Rodriguez with 0 points finishes bottom. In Group C, we had 3 players on 4 points, but it was James Wade who come through with a +5. Then Rob Cross with a +4. Jim Williams misses out with a +3 lead difference. And Boris Turgema, as Charlie touched upon earlier, only won 3 leads across the 3 days and finished bottom in that group. And in Group D, it was Ryan Joyce who came through on 4 points, with Roby John Rodriguez also on 4 points, finishing second. Chris Dobie, who was already eliminated before tonight, has jumped a place up and finishes third, with Stephen Bunting finishing fourth. What that means on Wednesday night is Derwin Price will meet Bradley Brutz, Johnny Clayton will meet Nathan Rafferty, James Wade will come up against Roby John Rodriguez, and Ryan Joyce will take on Rob Cross. So that then finishes Monday night's action and sets us up for what's going to be a very, very good night tomorrow night. So we will then move on to predictions for Tuesday night. The Dames, Michael Smith plays Joe Davis. Joe Cullen will then come up against Lisa Ashton. MVG takes on medium-sized Hendo. Mensah Sulawicz takes on Matt Campbell. My new friend Jose de Souza takes on Luke Humphreys.
Did you play pool against him by any chance?
Did I play what, sorry?
Did you play pool against him by any chance?
I did play pool against him. I'm sure you all seen the celebration from Jose at the end. We were stood right at the bottom. Jose de Souza takes on Luke Humphreys. Peter Wright plays Mike Didetta. Gabriel Clemens takes on Fallon Sherrick. And Darry Anderson, Raymond van Barneveld are the last games on Tuesday nights. What a Tuesday we have in store. I am back in Wolverhampton tomorrow for those games. No leopard print shirt for me tomorrow, but hopefully I'll be on the stream just for you, Cam. I'll give you a little wave as I did last night.
Yeah.
So we will start with you, Charlie, on this one. Michael Smith against Joe Davis. So Joe Davis is struggling, as we're aware, struggling with injury. Michael Smith already qualified in this group. Who do you see coming through?
Well, considering Michael Smith is 1-50 to win the game, I think it's pretty obvious who we're backing. I mean, yeah, I feel sorry for Joe Davis because he's hurting, isn't he? And he's holding his arm when he throws. It's not a nice position for him to be in. But Michael Smith will win that. I think he wins that 5-0, and he gets through comfortable and gets the job done.
And Cam, on this one, Smith Davies, are you doing the same?
Yeah, I can't see anything different. I'll be honest. I think it's just Joe Davis, like we said throughout this. It's not there. I think it's 5-0 Michael Smith, and I can't see any other way of it going, to be honest.
And in the chat room, let's see your predictions for the games tomorrow night, and we'll see if we can pop a couple of those on the screen. We know what happened yesterday when these two predicted Derwin Price to do a very good job on Martin Schindler. We know what happens, and
get your money on Joe Davis now.
They're both done for Michael Smith to whitewash Joe Davis. I think Joe Davis will get a couple of leads on the board. I think we've seen tonight how a couple of players can relax a little bit too much when there's no pressure on them. I expect Michael Smith to get the job done. I'm going to be a bit nicer on Joe Davis than the other two, and I'll expect him to get a couple of leads. But Michael Smith to thumb through that 1-5-2. So definitely get your money on Joe Davis if I've backed the other player. Cam, start with you on this one. So, Joe Cullen comes up against Lisa Ashton.
Yeah, I think I can't see past Joe here. I think Joe needs to get a result to make sure he's getting himself into that next round. I think more than likely a win will probably be enough of any amount. It may not even need that, to be honest. Might still sneak through depending on what happens in the other game, but I think Joe will go out there and just put that out of doubt straight away. I think maybe 5-2. I fancy Lisa to put on a good show and get a couple of legs, but I think Joe will just be a little bit too strong.
Charlie, are you done with Tammer then on this one?
Yeah, I was thinking 5-2. I think Joe Cullen will know.
Worrying times, this is when you're agreeing with each other. We know how
that's 2 in a row.
Yeah, I think Joe Cullen will know the form that Michael Van Gerwen's in. So I think that'll be a little bit of it will put him at ease a little bit more. Not that the MVG result is certain, but I think he gets the job done against Lisa Ashton. I do think he'll win 5-2. I expect Lisa to get a couple of legs on the board, but Joe should really run out as a clear winner.
Yeah, I'm expecting Joe to come through it as well. I'm sort of doing the opposite to what I did in the last game. You both went 5-0, I went 5-2. I'm going to switch it round. I think Joe Cullen comes flying out the blocks. Was impressed apart with Lisa Ashton yesterday, but I think if Joe Cullen can find his top game, I can see him coming through this one 5-0, maybe 5-1. And then the man in form, we move on to Michael Van Gerwen against John Henderson. Michael Van Gerwen currently top of the group at the moment. John Henderson sitting in third place. Endo will know at this stage what he'll need to do. Will that have an impact on the result, Charlie? Or either way, you're expecting MVG just to continue the impressive form that we've shown yesterday?
Yeah, I expect him to continue it. He's in some incredible form, isn't he, at the moment? And I think his scoring power will just blow Hendo away. Yeah, I was going to say 5-1. I think 5-1, 5-0. I think MVG just blows him away. I don't think he'll be near the average we saw the other night, but I think he will just blow Hendo away, and he'll get the job done early. And that could be probably one of the quickest games we see tomorrow night.
Yeah, on this one, Cam, a lot of people in the chat room are down 5-0 or 5-1. I've got a feeling you're going to be following Charlie then. Are you going with a similar scoreline?
I am, yeah. I mean, we've seen what Hendo can do against MVG in the past, but I can't see it. I think realistically, if the other game goes the way we think it's going to go, then Hendo's going to have to beat MVG 5-0 to get himself through. Now, as soon as he loses that first leg, that's going to be a big sort of kick in the proverbials for him, and MVG is just going to relax at that point, and I think he runs away with it, and probably I'm going to go 5-0.
I think Hendo gets a few in this one. It's hard to back against MVG. I'm sure in my prediction at the start of the week, I had him to be in the final. I know one of you yesterday predicted an MVG prize final. I'm sure I've done the same on the live lounge on Monday. Very hard to look past MVG at the moment. He's so good. Hopefully Hendo can let a few on the board, and if he's eliminated with a bit of confidence, see him push on. But I'm going to go for 5-3 Michael Van Gerwen. Then, final 5 games of the night. Then we see him get a little bit more interested in regards to more of the winner-takes-all sort of games and not people just needing 1 leg or 2 legs of that throw. We move on to Mensah Sulawicz versus Matt Campbell. Mensah's currently sitting second in the group on 2 points. Lead difference just 1 better than Luke Humphries, who's sitting in third. Matt Campbell been a little bit disappointed with Matt so far in this, but has still got an opportunity to qualify. Cam, on this one, do you think Matt Campbell can beat Mensah and beat him well, or are you siding with the Austrian?
I think it'll be fairly close, this one. I can see this one going all the way, to be honest. I think it's going to be 5-4 either way. Maybe Mensah just getting over the line. But I think Matt Campbell, we said this a little bit last night, that we expected a bit more from him, and he's probably not quite delivered yet. I think he will play well in this game, but Mensah will do enough to give himself a chance of going through.
Charlie?
Yeah, I think Mensah will win. I think he wins 5-3. I think, yeah, there you go, Matt Campbell. I don't think he's been anywhere near what we'd expected of him. And the consistency just hasn't been there. So I think eventually Sulawicz will get the break, and he'll take the opportunity when it comes, and I think he wins 5-3.
And then Dame number 5. I say that at this point we have Dames that have a lot more meaning on them. When we get to this Dame, depending on what happened between Mensah and Matt Campbell, Jose, as we are aware, my good friend from my pool partner, not pool partner, sorry, I played against him, but he may already be qualified on Tuesday, depending on what happens in that first Dame. But what a Dame it is against Luke Humphries. What a Dame of darts this could be. If they both can find the 180s, this could be a great Dame. Charlie, I'll come to you first on this one. What result do you see between Jose and Luke?
It's a tough one. It could go either way, this game. I think it goes to a last leg decider, and I think Luke Humphries beats Jose tomorrow night. I think he does. I think he'll get over the line in a last leg decider, which is what you want from that sort of game, because if both players are on top form, it could be superb. But I think Luke Humphries gets the job done.
So with your predictions, Charlie, looking at this, with Mensah coming through 5-3 and Luke Humphries coming through 5-4, with my calculations, that means that Jose would finish top with Mensah second and Luke Humphries just missing out by a couple of legs. Cam, your thoughts on this one?
I fancy Luke Humphries as well in this one. I'm going to give him an extra leg. I think he gets it 5-3. So an extra leg on the leg difference, which I think, from my predictions, would put Mensah out possibly.
Yeah, depending on what Mensah does, the damage.
Yeah, I have Mensah winning 5-4. I think that would just be not quite enough for him, and I think we see Luke and Jose go through.
Yeah, for Luke to jump above Jose, he needs to win 5-2 or better. No impact on the Mensah or Matt Dame, but for Luke to finish above Jose, he needs to win 5-2 or better. That will then to depend on what Mensah does to what Luke needs to do. For the start of his Dame, if Matt Campbell can get the better of Mensah, Luke Humphries could be sat in second and could be defending his position instead of going out to attack the position if Matt can get the better of Mensah. So it's going to be very, very interesting in Group F. Then we move to Group E, and Peter Wright against Mike Didetta. So Peter Wright will be very disappointed after his defeat against Gabriel Clemens. Will be coming up against Mike Didetta, someone who hasn't had a great weekend. Only picked up the one leg so far, but was on the run side of an outstanding performance from Fallon on Sunday night. Cam, I think it's with you on this one first. Peter Wright, Mike Didetta, how do you see this one going?
I can only really see this going one way. I think it might come down a little bit in terms of how far he wins by, down to what set of arrows he brings with him. But I think Peter Wright's going to get this done and get it done pretty comfortably. I'm going to go 5-2.
Charlie, agree?
I think Peter Wright gets the job done, of course. I think he'll do it 5-1, I think. It all depends on what arrows he brings up to the stage, doesn't it? But look, he'll be keen just to get the job done as easy and as quickly as possible. So I expect him to get that job done 5-1. I think Mike Didecka's been really disappointing so far.
We have a few 5-0s and 5-1s in the chat room. Adam's down with a surprise, and we've picked quite a lot of the favourites tonight. I'm going to stick with Peter Wright in this one. As we've seen tonight, there can be a few shots, but I expect Peter Wright to come through that one. Mike Didetta, yesterday I thought started well against Fallon, but once that Dame had done, he seems to just drop off, and I've got a feeling if Peter Wright can get the first couple of legs behind him, we could see a whitewash. Hopefully not, because like I says, I am impressed with Mike Didetta generally. So I'll do 5-2 Peter Wright in this one. Then it gets very, very interesting in this group. This is the game tomorrow night. This and the next one are the two that I'm really looking forward to. The ticket price is worth the money for these final two. Never mind the seats before for me. Fallon, who was outstanding on Sunday. Gabriel Clemens, who punished Peter Wright. Charlie, on this one, can Fallon continue another run at the PDC and get the better of Gabriel Clemens and win? Or are you down with the German?
I'd like to see her get through. That'd be brilliant. She was impressive, wasn't she, the other night? But I do think the German gets the job done just. I'd like to see that go to a last leg decider as well. But I think Clemens, just with that experience on the stage, I think he'll just edge Fallon. But to me, either way, the result it would be good because I'd love to see Fallon through, but I'd love to see Gabriel cement his place. But I think the German gets the job done 5-4.
Tom?
Oh, I'm doing it. I am firmly on the bandwagon. We're having it. It's 5-3 Fallon, and that's enough to get her through on head-to-head record against Gabriel. I'm having it, and it's happening.
You say it's good enough to see it through on the head-to-head record. However, if Peter Wright then wins his game 5-3, they would all be on +5. And then I believe the potential for a 9-dart shootout. If anyone can do that, that would be brilliant for me being in the crowd. I would love to see one of those live. But
yeah, I'm ready for another montage though. Well, let's have some more of them. All right.
I'm so undecided on this one. I'm going to edge towards Fallon winning it. Yeah, come on, Cam. Let's go for it. Fallon's going to win it and qualify. Let's go for it. That might be my heart rolling my head in regards to qualifying, but I can see Fallon pushing her all the way. Like I says, hopefully getting that result and then seeing her into the last 16. Then the final game, Cam. The final game of the night. One when Raymond van Barneveld that is taught back. These are games that we was looking forward to.
Yeah.
A game where it is winner takes all against Darry Anderson for a place in the last 16 and potentially against Michael van Derwin. Where are you going with this one? And is it a decision you're making with your head, your heart, or a mixture of both?
Yeah, it's a bit. Is it 2016 again? Is it? Where are we? We come back in time. It's what we all want to see, isn't it? After the comeback, we wanted to see it back and performing. And I fancy Barney's gonna squeak it. I just, as much as I love Gary Anderson, and I just don't think we've seen a lot from him so far this weekend. And I think Barney might just be a little bit more up for it and might just sneak his way through. I think it'll be close, but 5-4 gets over the line.
Oh, what a way to end the night, Cam. I love it. Charlie?
Yeah, I think Barney wins it. I do think he wins it. And, that's what I think, we'd love to, obviously, no disrespect to Gary, but, it would be great to have a real tussle, especially for the people in the crowd for the last game of the night. I think he wins it 5-3, though I think Barney just stretches out and gets the job done 5-3.
It's so hard to pick. It is honestly so hard to pick. Hopefully both turn up. I want to go with Cam and we see 9 legs of darts. It's a great game we're going to see with whatever happens, whether the 110 average or an 85 average between them. It's going to be a great game of darts. I really want to say Barney. I went with my heart in the last game. I'm going to go with my head in this one and say that Darry Anderson, who always gets through the group stages at the Grand Slam, always gets through.
It does.
Does it against Barney and comes through it 5-3 in a classic at the Slam. So, gentlemen, we have gone past midnight. We are 50 minutes. We've had a long night. We've had less games, but we've spoke more. I'm not sure how that's happened. But as always, thank you very much for joining us, Tam. Charlie, I believe, Charlie, you're back on tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think I'm on till Friday night, I think.
Cam, we're allowing you to have a few nights off after you'd worked all over the weekend.
Yeah, I think I've got some nights off, but then we never know. We know I'm always the late replacement if anyone needs it. So if Gob decides to give himself another night off, I might end up back on.
I'm off for a couple of nights because I'm back in the venue. Hopefully, you'll see me on your screen if you're tuning in, as you did a lot of last night.
You better have a suitably bright shirt ready again.
There will be one ready as always, Tom. I was going to tone it down, but I'm only there a few nights, Let's pick it back up or not. As always, in the chat room, thank you very much for joining us. Dob will be back with you tomorrow hosting. Charlie's on. I think it's Luke who's going to be joining as well. He'll be talking you through the final group stage games, I should say, and then looking at the knockout stages as we move then into Wednesday. They will be back with you. I was going to say tomorrow, but actually it's later on this evening. They will be back with you to talk through Tuesday's action. As always, thank you very much for Boyle Sports for their continued support. Thank you very much for everyone in the chat room. The videos and the clips that you saw are available on our YouTube channel. There'll be a few more coming on tomorrow morning, as you'll see from the rest on there. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you have a good evening, and I will see you all the rest of the week. Good night, gentlemen.